I am so excited because, again, I get to speak to Hannah Mary Mckinnon about her brand new book coming out at the end of this month, May 25th. She's going to hold it up so we can see it. You Will Remember Me. Even that title. Okay, because I've read the book, the title is more frightening than before. I mean, it catches you to read it, but then when you're done, and I looked at it and I'm like, wow, that title is so perfect. I know I say this a lot, everyone, but when I tell you that I read this book in less than a day, it's because I couldn't put it down. I could not put it down. You will not. Once you open it, don't make plans. Just sit down and read the book because you're not going to be able to stop. So I'm going to let you talk, Hannah, but that was my experience with it. It was amazing. I can't. I just can't. I'm still trying to digest the ending. This morning when I was getting ready, I'm like, wow. And I've heard other people, they even prepared me. They even said you were going to be blown away by this ending, and that did not prepare me.
Wow. I'm so flattered. Thank you. First of all, the title is not my creation.
Really?
Some viewers may not know that authors don't necessarily choose the titles. And it's a well-known fact between my editor and myself that I'm not very good at choosing titles, at coming up with titles. I generally put forth a title and she goes, and then comes up with a far better one. So I think the next one, not the one for next year, but the one for the year after, I'm just going to call it Book 7, because that's about as good as I can get. But in terms of You Will Remember Me, let me just maybe give a little bit of insight of what it's about. So it's a psychological thriller.
Yes.
My 5th book, and it's the story of a man who wakes up on a beach but doesn't know who he is or how he got there, a woman named Lily who's searching for her boyfriend Jack, who went missing after a swim, and a young woman called Maya who's also looking for someone. So she's searching for her estranged stepbrother Ash, who upped and left 2 years ago and has never been seen or heard from again. But the question is the man from the beach Jack, Ash, neither, or both?
I loved Lily. I love Lily.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I think you wanted us to love Lily. I don't know if she would have been your most fun character, because I'm thinking Maya, the stepsister, was probably the most fun for you as a thriller writer.
To write?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm a very heavy plotter. So when I outlined the book and shared the plot with my editor, before I shared the plot with my editor, I said, how dark can I make the ending? And she said, as dark as you please. And so I did. The ending really, and I won't say too much because I don't want to spoil it, but that had a very heavy impact on all of the characters, actually, of course. Maya was fun to write because she has some issues. As does Lily, though. Yes. But they deal with them in very different ways. The man from the beach was the most difficult character I have ever written, ever. Because when you have a character with amnesia, and even though I outlined the book and I plotted the book and I had extensive notes and pages and whatnot, and I knew what was going to happen, and things changed a bit, but actually they changed fairly significantly the last third. I sat down to write, and I started writing the man from the beach's chapters, and I realized he has I knew he had amnesia, that was clear, but I realized because of that I couldn't give him any backstory or memories that he could know of. I knew all of his backstory, I knew all of his memories, but I couldn't give them to him. Honestly, this book, as much as Sister Dear, the one from 2020, was not easy to write, but relatively smooth in comparison, You Will Remember Me just slapped me around the face, and it was probably the hardest book I've written. Multiple viewpoint characters, one with amnesia. I don't know if I'll write another book with a amnesia character. I think that's an author achievement unlocked, and I don't think I'll do it again.
I kept thinking that as I'm reading, because when you've got 3 different points of view, 2 is difficult enough to go back and forth, but you've got 3. To remember who knows which person at which stage, and then to throw in their backstory as you're writing it. I was like, she's either got a great post-it note system somewhere.
Well, don't forget that we write in layers. So don't forget that what you see in this book is multiple passes. So I didn't sit down and write it from beginning to end and nothing at all changed. You know, it's just not how it works. It's like a painter who paints a portrait. I always like to say they don't start in the top left-hand corner and work their way perfectly down to the bottom right-hand corner and sign their name and they're done. It's just not how it works. It's layered. And writing is the same. So I did give the characters backstory because I before I actually start to write chapter 1, I develop the characters and the plot and basically figure out how the characters became who they are when I start chapter 1, all of their past, what made them who they are when the story starts. So I knew some stuff, but not all of it, because as you write, even as a heavy plotter, as I write, I uncover more of my characters. I get to know them better and develop them more. So rest assured, I didn't know everything from the outset. Far away from that, actually. Far.
Yeah, because as a reader, like as I'm reading and I'm thinking, oh, she's writing, she's gonna write Ash today. And then, oh, she wakes up and she's like, oh, it's Lily's turn. And then, like we're thinking you're writing it as we're reading it.
No. No, actually, I used Mary Kubica. So I love Mary Kubica. She is brilliant. She's just phenomenal author. She doesn't plot, which scares the bejesus out of me. I don't know how she doesn't plot, because she writes multiple point of view characters and she doesn't plot. And she shared with me once that when she writes the chapters of the first character, then she writes the chapters of the second one, and then the third, and then she weaves them together. And then there's editing and smoothing and polishing, of course. So I thought, well, I'm going to try that. So for You Will Remember Me, I did exactly that. I wrote the first character's chapters and then the second and then the third, but because I had plotted it, it was a little easier. And then you stitch it together, and there's a lot of editing that goes on, afterwards. There's many, like I said, multiple passes over the manuscript until it becomes a finished book.
Because I just talked to Kara Rauda too. And I've been talking to a lot of you domestic thriller authors lately, because there seem to be a lot of them coming out. And I said to her, does your husband read your books? Because I would think that they'd read them and be like, oh. Well, so I'm going to ask you that question. Does he read your books? Is he a part of your process?
My husband, much to my chagrin, is not a massive reader, but he does listen to them. He loves listening to the audio version, which counts as reading as far as I'm concerned, whatever format, who cares?
Right.
A book is a book, whether it's ebook, hardcover, paperback, audio, doesn't matter.
Right.
But he doesn't read them as I'm writing them, or he doesn't read any he's not a critique partner in that sense. But we've had some very, very interesting conversations. So for example, as I was writing You Will Remember Me, we share an office, and I popped my head above the computer at the screen, and I said, did you know that if you give somebody Benadryl, it can mess with their mind? And he said, a fictional somebody, right? I said, oh yeah. And then I went back to writing. And he goes off, he's watching TV, and I walked in, I said, if somebody's working under a car that's raised, could they, if it fell on them, would it kill them? And he said, well, depending on what and how, yeah. And I sat down next to him, I said, ooh, tell me more. So I wouldn't say he's worried, but there are times when we were watching a movie based on a Stephen King book, and something happened in it. And I said, oh my gosh, the lady, she needs to, somebody fell off a balcony. And I said, and she wanted him dead. And I said, oh, she's going to have to strangle him or suffocate him or something. And then she did, with a plastic bag. And I said, a Ziploc bag. And I said, oh my gosh, quick, put it in the fridge with some meat in it because it's got blood in it. So quick, put it in the fridge and disguise it that way. And she did. And Rob just looked at me and he said, I don't know if I want to be in the same bed as you anymore. This is getting out of hand. So because I'm often thinking about how to get away with murder, fictional murder, which is a very strange place to be in.
Yes. Yeah.
But because it's fictional, it's fine. It doesn't
Right.
count. It's fine. It's not real. It's all just fictional. Yeah, it's one of those things when you're writing crime, you're reading about it. I read a lot of suspense
Right.
novels, and I take a big interest in crime in general. And my mind always goes to, I see something that happens, like the idea for You Will Remember Me. And then I thought, oh, but what could have gone wrong? And it's just the way a thriller author's brain works, which for those who are not in that world probably seems really odd. But it's my work and it's fiction, so it's fine. It's totally fine.
What I always thought about Lily is she was dating him for 2 years. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm not out there dating. Okay. But I think, how long should you know somebody? Like, do you need to know them more than 2 years I mean, she thought she knew him, right? I
She
mean,
did.
and that's not a
She
giveaway.
did.
And
And she knew the version of him that he wanted to be,
that's what's scary.
right?
That would make me want to do a little, check, a
A
little.
background check.
You can't
Yes.
date without a good background check, right? It's crazy. Crazy. This story was so unpredictable. It was so different. And that is what I love about your books, is that they all take you to a different, and I can say that because I've read them all. They all take you to a different place. I just didn't suspect this one as much. And I think that's why, yesterday, I swear, like I read it in less than a day, but it was an overnight, which I hated doing because I fell asleep 2 o'clock in the morning or something. Woke up and my kids were like, "What are you doing today?" I'm like, "Nothing. I'm leave me alone. I gotta finish a book." And I thought I'd read it all day, but no, it did not take me that long because I just sat down and read. You cannot get up. You just can't. So
Oh, I'm so pleased. That
it's
is the best compliment. That I glued you to your seat. That is
glued
very
to
best
your seat.
compliment.
And people who say that, they're like, "No, that true? Is that just a saying? Is that just true?" It is absolutely true. I could not, I had the, digital, but I'm walking around and I'm like, I got to get up to eat. I've got to, like, there are things that need to happen. But I always get so excited to read your books. I really
Oh,
do.
thank you.
I am one of your hugest fans.
Thank you very much. That's so
So
kind,
Wendy,
Michelle.
let's talk before we let you go, because we really can't talk anymore. I think we've extended the point that we can talk about this book. We don't want to talk about it.
But no spoilers. Yeah,
No
that's right.
spoilers. Go get it. You will be so happy you did. But your next one, we can talk about that one.
We
When
can.
when will we be getting it? And do you have
That's
a title?
so it's done. I'm finishing off a smaller round of edits. The bigger big ticket items, they've been done. So it's line edits now. And that one will be a spring release. We have a title in mind, but it's not official yet, so I can't share that. But what I can say is that it's different again, because for the first time, I have written from the antagonist's point of view. So yeah, so this is different. So this is from a man's point of view. That's the second time I've done that, writing a book entirely from a man's point of view. Her Secret Son was the same. But this time it's a bad guy. So it's the story of Lucas, who has hired a hitman via the dark web to get rid of his exceedingly annoying wife. And a month after her disappearance, he receives a partial photograph of her in the mail with a message on the back. And so the question is, who knows something? What do they know? Who are they? And what's they going to do next? And what is Lucas going to do about it? And is he going to get away with murder?
That's what I love about yours. Like, and I read a lot of domestic thrillers, but with yours, it's always this question of who knows what. And
yes, the secrets. This
yeah,
is true.
the secrets is of who, it's back and forth. Well, this person knows this person knows this. Then you're not exactly sure what the third person knows. Like, you always keep us guessing on who knows what. And I love that. And that's what keeps us reading your books so quickly too.
Oh, thank you.
But I
Thank
do
you.
know that, I mean, you're probably, here you are promoting this book, you're doing edits on the next one, you're probably in the stages of writing the next one, right?
Yes, yes, that's true. Yeah, yeah, that's right. And sometimes doing promotions for Sister Dear and book clubs, and even book clubs for the neighbors. It's which came out in 2018.
Right.
Uh, so it's fun though. I love it. I can't imagine doing anything else.
Changed my whole perspective of my neighbors. I haven't since moved, but I remember reading the neighbors. After I read the neighbors, I didn't want to know any of my neighbors.
Well, I hope yours are better behaved than they were in my book.
Okay, hold up the book one more time for everybody. I want to see that cover. I love seeing the real cover, because on the digital, I'm sorry, you just don't get that.
Not the same.
Yeah, it's not the
That's
same. And I love the little picture at the bottom of
Yes, the little house.
the house. Yeah. Oh my God. And you won't know until you read it. So you won't even understand. But I know, I'm so happy I know. That's all I can say. I'm so happy I know. And I can't wait. I know I'm going to talk to you again next year about the new one. I will be so looking forward to it and have so much fun when this book comes out, because this is going to be, it's going to be huge. I can't wait.
Oh,
I can't
thank
wait,
you.
since I feel so in the know. I can't wait to just track it and see what it does, because
That's
I think
amazing.
everybody
Thank you.
yeah, I'm gonna follow everybody on Instagram that's as they're as they're getting it and reading it, just to, see what kind of fun it is, because everybody is gonna love this book. I am so happy for you.
Thank you. Well, I hope they're as blown away by the ending as you were,
Oh,
because
they
that
not even a chance that they won't be. Well, you have a fun month, and we will look forward to your next book. Thank you so much, Hannah.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.